Hey, what's going on, guys? Gunchad here and welcome. So, out on the Triumph today. Just had to get some fuel from BP because I was down to 11 miles of range. I wanted to run it low because I was out with Hepcat Harley the other day. Before that, I put a tank of E10 in because I had no premium, so I wanted to get that nasty stuff out of its system. Now, apparently, I've only filled this up a couple of times before. The fuel gauge takes quite a while to register on. It was nice to ride this last weekend. My leg's getting stronger, which means I can actually ride it. I can't believe it. It's already been nearly a year of owning it, and I've only done about 100 and something, maybe 200 miles or so. So trying to get that up. Oh, that's not bad. 100 and it's finally registered. So it took about a mile. So yeah, currently on my way to Hinckley. I sold, basically when I bought this, I had a pillion seat. I ordered a comfort pillion seat for Hannah and a comfort seat for me. She quite likes being comfortable, and we want to do some touring on this, so I thought, well, might as well. Turns out, already had it fitted, and the dealer hadn't told me. And I asked him, and he said no, but it did. So I've kept the new ones, and I'm selling the old ones. But the chap that I sold them to wants them for this weekend, so I thought it'd be nice, and rather than post it because it's the bank holiday weekend, it's sort of Jubilee bank holiday here in the UK. We don't get one every year. It's what, Platinum Jubilee this year, which is, I want to say 70 years. I could be entirely wrong. They've moved one of the bank holidays, and they've given us an extra bank holiday, so we've got Thursday, Friday off, which is rather nice. Today being the Thursday, so 4-day weekend, which, even if you're not a supporter of the royal family, or a firm favourite, or, you know, like them in any way, shape or form, then even you can appreciate an extra couple of days off, so works out well for us. I think it's quite an achievement. I mean, 70 years doing the same job, fair play. Yeah, so my leg's getting stronger, so I rode this last weekend. I was out with Hepcat Harley. Couldn't believe the difference in leg strength. I actually managed to get it off the side stand, not on complete and utter flat. I mean, it was a slight slope, it wasn't anything spectacular, but yeah, I mean, it hurt doing it, but it's all progress, isn't it? There's no way even a couple of months ago I could have done that. But I've strengthened, I've got stronger exercise bands, and they seem to be doing the trick. So I just keep doing those every day, and eventually it'll get a little bit better and a little bit better. So yeah, Hinckley's the destination, and then because it's such a lovely day and everyone's off work, we thought we'd have a barbecue. So I've then got to go from Hinckley, which is 40 minutes one side of me, to Uppingham, which is sort of 20-30 minutes the other side of me, to get some barbecue food. And the reason I'm going to Uppingham is the butchers there, no one can beat their ribs. They are huge. They're about an inch or two thick, and about not far off as long as your forearm. They are brilliant. They're more like steaks with a bone running through. Don't think I've ever been to Smeaton Westerby, but you can tell it's the Jubilee weekend because there's lots of Union Jacks everywhere, which is rather nice, or the correct name being the Union flag. We're not normally this patriotic. I said in the Hepcat video, the tyres on this bike are awful. I thought, seeing as I've got no place to be, stick my sat-nav on Adventurous Routing. Rather nice road this. Oh, Bruntingthorpe, that's where MCN and a lot of the magazines do tests. I really don't know this way at all. I never come out this way. I still forget because I'm not on the Himi. Obviously I can overtake. I do have to keep an eye on my speed a little bit, because doing 60 on this feels like doing about 35 on the Himalayan. I do love Garmin's Adventurous Routing. Such a nice feature to have. I think the biggest trip I've ever, like with the Adventurous Routing setting, in a day was it a Humber Bridge? Like, the way there was terrible, like really bad. Just boring roads. So I stuck it on Adventurous Routing on the way home, and it was amazing. I just had wall-to-wall corners and twisties the whole way home. So riding on roads like this, sure it takes a little longer, but if you haven't got anywhere to be, it's such an excellent feature. I mean, the Garmin's good. The sat-nav's really good at finding places. Like, it'll drop you right on the doorstep of where you want to be. The two complaints I have with the sat-nav, one is, and I don't know why, all sat-navs seem to have it nowadays, is you have to connect your phone and have an app and use your own data to be able to get traffic updates. That drives me nuts. Sat-navs used to have traffic inbuilt, which seems like a bit of a sort of step backwards, as it were. But I suppose it's cost cutting, isn't it? You know, they're not having to use the data services, etc. Blah blah blah. Yeah, just a bit annoying. The other thing that isn't great, and I don't know if it's because I don't have traffic on and I haven't set it to my phone, but it assumes that every single road you can ride at the speed limit. So if it's a 60 with grass growing in the middle, it reckons you can do 60. So it's very, I mean, you have to be pelting it, absolutely hammering it, to be able to play the sat-nav game. Unlike a car sat-nav where it'll, you know, you'll arrive 10 minutes early or whatever, and just from driving normally or whatever. This is the most optimistic sat-nav ever, and I can only assume that the data collected to work out the times and stuff was collected by John McGuinness. Yeah, I mean, it's taken me, you know, this is the sat-nav that I used all around Europe. It works rain or shine, no issues. Don't get too much screen glare. You can get like a little peak for them, you know, off eBay. But it works fine in gloves. You don't need to take your gloves off. It's not like they're really fancy one. I think it's just their basic one, which has now been superseded. But it just worked. And yeah, okay, it looks a bit dated when you see it in comparison to the TFT on the Triumph. But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And as long as I can still get, you know, the charging cables and the mounts when I change bikes, I'll carry on using it. It does everything I want it to, apart from traffic without connecting my phone, which I refuse to do. When you're going into towns and cities, the Adventurous Routing, or else it tries to drag you up every single cul-de-sac. Probably could end up going through Harbour again at this rate. It's literally taking me back the way I came. The other thing I don't like about the sat-nav, it says Uppingham is in Leicestershire. Now I grew up in Rutland, and calling Uppingham Leicestershire. Rutland is the smallest county in the UK for technically half the year, depends where the tide is. But it only has two towns, Uppingham and Oakham. Rutland temporarily ceased to exist, and then it was brought back. It was like a campaign going, no, we're Rutland. So it actually did become part of Leicestershire, which is why Rutland has an LE postcode. Although the story of when I bought this bike, depending on who's telling it, is different. So if I tell the story, it's, well, I was bored with my leg and was at home bored with my leg, browsing through bikes, and bought my Tiger. Anyone in my family tells the story, oh my god, it's gone like one of those fishing stories. So there's various versions. Apparently I bought it in the ambulance on the way to the hospital with my broken leg, although the most common one tends to be I bought it whilst I was lying in a bed in A&E. I mean, it sounds better, doesn't it? It sounds more exuberant, slightly eccentric. Yes, I bought a bike whilst lying in hospital, having just fallen off one. Yeah, I think it was a couple of weeks after I got out of hospital. I had been home a couple of weeks. It wasn't like a spur of the moment thing. But I've been toying with getting one for ages. Because, as I've said, you know, I loved my V-Strom, but the problem with it was it's a bit too tall with a pillion on. I must admit, I do prefer the engine braking of the V-Strom. Yeah, the sort of dampening of bumps on this is definitely better than the Himalayan. Naughty, naughty, Mr. Man, no front number plate. I think this is probably a good time to end the video here. So, thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this little outing of me rambling about my sat-nav and just riding nice roads. But yeah, thank you ever so much for watching, and take care.